All right, welcome back, guys, to the Undisputed Leadership Summit. I'm your host, Luke Sissenbath, and today we got a very killer session with none other than Mr. Adam Davies. Welcome, Adam.
What's up, Luke? How's it going, brother?
It's all good, man. It's all good over here, man. I'm glad to have you on here. Alan mentioned that, hey, we need to have Adam Davies and Mr. Alex Jeffries as well on this summit, because you guys have a chock full of information that you guys could provide us, especially on how to lead a team like a champion, to help the audience here build their first 6, 7, or even 8-figure business. So I'm excited to have you guys, chop it up with me.
Absolutely excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me. And Alan's a friend of mine. We met a couple of years ago. I was over in San Diego at the Traffic and Conversion Summit, and we met at a party. And I said, you know what, we have to do something together one day. And here I am today, and I'm excited to be here. And funnily enough, I'm actually broadcasting, from sunny San Diego, because I actually moved here just over a year ago from the United Kingdom. So if you're wondering, why I sound weird or I have an accent, it's because I'm from the UK, but I live in San Diego, California now, which is beautiful, and it's glorious blue sky. I'm looking out the window now, and I'm just happy to be here.
That's awesome. You know what? A lot of people might be thinking about where my accent is from. It's actually Canadian. So we both have kind of the same curiosity. Well, the audience might have some curiosity as to where we're from, but hey, that's cool.
Yeah, it gives us some character for sure.
Exactly.
I'm happy about that.
So Adam, I'm very excited to get right into this. If you guys see me looking over on the side here, so I'm looking at questions. We came up with a few questions that I think that is going to bring you guys a lot of value. And Adam has, been through it all, created multiple $1 million businesses with his partner, Alex Jeffries. And let's just get right into it. So this is going to pretty much segue into what you do and how you did it. So my first question is, you've created multiple multi-million-dollar businesses. Now, one of them is marketing with you, and the other one is coaching with you, which is the most recent one. Now, can you walk us through the time when you guys sat down and planned this all out and knew, or the time, well, I should say maybe kind of like a blueprint on how you guys brought it to where it is today?
Sure. So I think the best thing to do would be to explain a bit about my background, and I guess how myself and Alex met and became business partners, because that's a very important journey that I went through and we're still going through, right? So my background is cold calling, sales, and direct response marketing. That's my background in the business world. But prior to that, I wasn't even a college dropout, because I didn't even go to college in the first place. So there's no college to drop out from, which not a lot many people know that, because I've coached, so many people from all over the world and helped people generate millions of dollars, and obviously built a multi-million-dollar, couple of multi-million-dollar companies myself. So a lot of people are surprised when I say I didn't go to college. Well, when I was 18 to age 21, 22, I saw a lot of people go off to college, a lot of my friends go off to college, and I was pretty much lost, and I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life. I had no idea. I knew I didn't want to go the regular path and get a job and do that 9-to-5 thing. That's one thing I did know, although I did end up doing that for some time, because I did all kinds of different things. I mean, I was security at a nightclub, so I was a bouncer, which surprised a lot of people, because I haven't really got the huge muscles that a lot of the guys have got. But I was a little bit bigger back then, I think, because I just, stared at my laptop most of the years that I kind of shrunk down. But I did that. I did professional gambling. I was trading online with gambling, all kinds of different things. But it wasn't until my father actually gave me a book on direct response marketing. It may be a bit of a strange thing for a father to give his son that, but it was the best thing he ever did. And the reason why he did it is because he used direct response marketing to grow his dental practice. So he had kind of doubled his revenue in several months with direct response marketing that he was learning, and he was going to these seminars and all these kind of things. So he gave me this book. He didn't know what was going to happen once I read the book, but I read it in like one night. It was actually Dan Kennedy, Direct Response Marketing, No BS Direct Response Marketing by Dan Kennedy. Still a classic to this day, and the guy's a legend. I've actually since ended up working with him and met him, and he's a great guy, which is really one of my idols and my mentors. And that after reading that book, it triggered something in me, and I became obsessed with marketing. I became a student, which I think is important in business, to become a student in business and in marketing and in sales, if you really want to reach those high levels. And I just consumed everything I could find. And I've got a whole journey of how I became a direct response marketing consultant for local businesses, which I won't go into right now. But one of the other main things that I learned was cold calling as well. So sales, right? So I had the marketing down pat. I wanted to learn, well, when I say down pat, I was still, you never down pat with marketing. You're always a student, right? But I felt comfortable to run some campaigns of direct response marketing. But marketing's one thing and selling the other thing, because you've got to close the deal, right? The marketing gets it only so far, and the sale brings it over the line. So I actually ended up working for a company, cold calling. And I'm on about literally boiler room, smile and dial stuff, where I had a big phone book and I was ringing through trying to make sales. And the first cold calling job I had was actually selling bull semen to farmers.
Sorry, what?
That's right. Bull semen to farmers, right?
Wow.
Look, when I heard that too, I was like, really? Because I went to a recruitment consultant and they said, you're going to work for an animal genetics company. I thought, well, that sounds good. And I got into the door. Surprisingly, they didn't tell me it was selling bull semen until I got through the door and I went through all this process. Because I probably wouldn't have shown up. But surprise, I won't go into the whole thing of the industry, but it's like liquid gold. Farmers need it for to impregnate the cows and create super cows that produce lots of milk, right? Yeah. It's a huge booming business all over the world. And I was doing it in an office in the UK, basically cold calling farmers whilst they were having their breakfast or lunch, because most of the day they were out shoveling crap. When they came in for their lunch and breakfast or whatever to eat their food, I had to cold call them. I had to grab them at that spot while they're eating their bacon and eggs and try and sell them semen. So if you can sell semen to a pissed off, angry farmer while they're eating their lunch, you can sell absolutely anything. And that's really where I learned my cold calling skills and actually selling over the phone, which gave me the foundation for what I built today. Fast forward a couple of years, and I met my business partner, Alex Jeffries, who was speaking at an event in London. I was actually an attendee, and we got speaking. And he had Alex at the time was an up and coming internet marketing guru. He was helping people to get online and sell information products like ebooks and membership sites and things like that. And we're both from the same city. So when I spoke with him, he saw that I understood direct response marketing. I could sell. And he said, hey, maybe we can do something. So after the event, we stayed in touch. And he actually invited me to the office and he said, what do you think of the operation? It was kind of, the business he had was very hit and miss in regards to, it was up and down. He was selling coaching to kind of beginners to get online. And he was doing that through launching his coaching program just once a year. So he would launch his coaching program for 7 days. There'd be a rush of sales. He'd get a load of clients in, and then he'd coach them over a few weeks, and then he'd shut it off till the next year. That was his business model. So he was looking for a more consistent model of selling coaching, which is where I came in, because he wanted to get in leads every day, doing marketing, and then selling every day, selling his program. So we kind of partnered up. Over several months, we kind of built a few systems and a few processes, and then eventually became business partners. And we grew the company from about 300,000 a year to 3.2 million a year, just over in the course of 2 to 3 years. So we kind of 10x the business using direct response marketing and sales methods to actually 10x the business. And we built it to what it is today. And I'm happy to say that Marketing Review has now been twice ranked on the Inc. 5000 list as fastest growing private companies. So we are ranked 935th fastest growing private company. And then the following year, where we are currently, a 903rd fastest growing private company in North America. So the actual speed that we did it has been absolutely incredible. And as I kind of alluded to earlier, in the past 12 months, we moved to sunny San Diego to continue the growth, and just excited to be here and just happy to be speaking with you, Luke.
That's amazing. And you answered a couple questions for me already, the questions that I had. Now, how did you guys 10x that business? I want to get into that if you can share that with us.
Sure, great question. The real secret of our business, or the machine of our business, is what I call the telefunnel. Okay, so the telefunnel is a system that I created way back in 2011, whilst myself and Alex began to work together. Because, like I said, Alex's business was like this over the years, and I wanted it to go like this. So, in order to do that, we needed consistency, and the consistency that we needed was we needed to have consistent leads coming into the business every single day, and then a process to turn those leads into telephone leads on the phone who were pre-educated and understood what we were about and needed our help. And then we needed a system to actually sell them and then deliver a great service to them as well without burning ourselves out. So the real secret to what we have was the telefunnel, and having that consistency and really having processes and procedures in place to actually achieve that. That was really the secret.
Mm-hmm. So telefunnel is just really, it's where marketing and sales meet. And I think that's a very, very important combination to have, because a lot of people do marketing and just wait for the phone to ring. And once the phone does ring, they don't really know how to sell it, right? They could turn off a prospective client, or somebody's just kicking tires and just asking for price. They'll give them price right away, and then they're off, right? And off to a competitor. Now, would you be able to walk us through, let's say, once some of your marketing, let's say how maybe one of the things on how you generate leads, and once that goes into the funnel, what that looks like?
Absolutely. So with my clients I work with right now, there are really four main pillars that we take the clients through to build a 7-figure coaching business. Okay. And you can use these strategies in multiple different industries, but right now I specialize in helping other coaches or people to launch coaching businesses. So if you have knowledge, experience, or any kind of skill that you want to package up and make sales with, people come to me for the system. Okay. So the first pillar is the main thing, is to have a highly leveraged offer. Okay. Now, what I mean by a highly leveraged offer is you want something you can sell in volume over and over again that isn't going to burn you out. Because a lot of people that come to me for help, or they have a skill, they have some wisdom, they have some knowledge, they get bogged down in the one-on-one kind of process of delivery. So if you're a coach, what most people do is they work one-on-one with clients, and they maybe say, hey, I'll work with you one-on-one, once a week for a 60-minute call. But what they don't realize is they're essentially selling their time for money. There's no leverage there. And what they're really creating is another job, which is, an hourly rate, essentially, and if you're stuck in an hourly rate, the only way you can really grow is by doing more hours or increasing your hourly rate, where there's really kind of caps and limits to doing that throughout the business. And I speak to a lot of great coaches, great people have a lot of skill, a lot of value, and they are trapped in, let's say, making $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, at best $15,000 or $20,000 a month, which isn't going to produce a 7-figure business, especially not a multiple 7-figure business. So, like I said, the first pillar is having a highly leveraged offer, which is premium priced as well. And what I mean by that is, for instance, if you're a coach, have a group coaching offer, a leveraged offer. So you actually coach people in groups. So instead of doing one-on-one, what you do is, and what I teach my clients to do is create a training for everyone to go through that they can follow. Let's say an online training where they go through systems, steps, processes that they go through, that they are then learning, and then you use the weekly group calls for like a Q&A. So then you kind of fill in the blanks of what you're doing on the Q&A call. That way, instead of having a one-on-one call, which is 60 minutes, you can have 10 or 20 people over a 60 or 90 minute period and still charge the same. Because the big secret is, and what people get trapped in this mentality is, people aren't paying for your time. They're paying for results. They're paying for the outcome, okay? Let's just say, for instance, you're having trouble with your marriage, okay? And you and your wife are not getting on well. People don't go to a marriage counselor and say, well, I need 8 one-hour sessions to fix my marriage. They don't care. They want their marriage fixed, right? So they don't care if you walk in the room and it takes 20 minutes for you to madly fall in love with your wife again, and you go off and, you know, the kids are fine and everyone's happy, and you're not going to have a big divorce, costly divorce, right? So people are paying for the outcome, and that's the big thing that you want to sell people on, is the outcome, is results-based in whatever you're selling. You know, it's not the hours. And that's the big thing for the coaches, that they struggle to get out of that mindset. And that's the main thing that I get them to understand, which is create one highly leveraged offer, which is premium price. So let's say, for instance, you're a coach. So instead of selling, you know, $100, $200 an hour, you actually package up your knowledge into an 8-week group coaching program, where you can charge people, let's say, $5,000, right? So now you can enroll 20 people a month at $5,000 each. That's $100,000 a month there, which is obviously 1.2 million a year. And you only have to coach people, let's say, 2 to 3 hours a week, instead of blocking out 40 hours a week of coaching at $100 an hour, where you're going to be burnt out. You can't do anything else. You haven't got any time for marketing or life or anything like that, and you're going to be pretty unhappy. And then if you go on vacation, you make no money. So for me, it's all about having a highly leveraged offer, group coaching offer, and doing it that way. Another level beyond that, which I won't talk about too much now, because I can talk about it I can do a whole week conference on this on its own, is actually then having your offer and actually delegating the coaching to someone else. So having a system that people that you teach and follow, but then actually then bringing in other coaches to teach the system. And that way then you are completely out of the fulfillment, and then you can grow, you know, a 9 or even 10-figure business. You just, you know, the sky's the limit. God knows where you can go to that level. So once you have the system and you base it around results and outcome, you can actually remove the heavy lifting and the hard work out of there by using online programs to teach it, Q&A sessions, or even other coaches to come in and do it. That's how you build some of the most successful businesses in the world, is the systems around that. So that's the first pillar. The second pillar is having a sales and marketing system, which for us is a telefunnel. So the telefunnel basically is a system of marketing online. So we have online presentations, for argument's sake, let's say an automated webinar. So we have an automated webinar that we have people watch. When they watch it, they then apply for a free consultation call, where we actually have them on the phone. We take them offline. So they go from online to offline, where they actually schedule a call with a real human being, whether it's myself or one of my team. And then we will actually enroll them into our coaching program over the phone offline. Now, the reason why we take them offline is we found a limit to what we can sell online. We found when you start charging $2,000 or more, without speaking to a human, the conversions just plummet and crash. So if you have a high-end service, 2,000 or more, 3,000 or more, you're going to have to take them offline really to keep the conversions, which is why we have people have a free consultation or an application process, a discovery call, a strategy call, whatever you want to call it, where we actually take them offline then and actually enroll them. And that's a telefunnel. It's how a content delivered online to a magic script, which is a sales call offline. So they're the two components of a telefunnel, which is obviously the marketing and sales. So you have two pillars. You have a great offer. You then have the marketing, you have the sales. And the third pillar, which kind of drives this, is advertising. Okay? Paid advertising. Because if you are not doing paid advertising, I don't believe you have a real business. Okay? I don't believe you have a real business. If you're relying on, let's say, affiliates, or you're relying on door knocking, or going to networking events to get your clients and your man hours and, you know, slaving away, knocking on doors, I believe you're really handicapped and you're not going to be able to scale your business, because we were actually trapped in that cycle for many years. We only got business through affiliates. Okay. We used to sell $5 or $10 ebooks with an affiliate marketing program where other affiliates would drive the leads. And basically every day we'd wake up not knowing how many sales we were going to make on the front end or how many leads we were going to get, because we were relying on affiliates to drive the traffic. And don't get me wrong, we were making thousands of sales every single month with affiliates. Okay. I had a whole system of affiliate managers going out there, driving traffic through affiliates, making these sales, but it was not scalable because we relied on other people to get the leads in. It was like, well, is so-and-so going to promote us today? You know, it's like every day we have to get out of bed wondering, like, who do we have to, you know, who do we have to give a massage to? You know, whose back do we have to rub to get them to promote us, right? And we were having to throw more and more money into it. We were giving away 100% commissions, 200% commissions, even 500% commissions on our product. So every $5 product we'd sell, we are paying out like $25 just to get the lead. So I was kind of thinking, well, this is getting crazy. Are we going to go to $1,000 commissions? Are we going to have to put a party on in the Playboy Mansion or something to get affiliates to promote, like I've seen other people do, right? So it was getting crazy, and I thought, hey, do you know what? We need to dial in this paid traffic stuff. And the big paid traffic source that everyone was talking about, well, we saw that was a big thing for us to find our market was Facebook. So a couple of years ago, we moved over to paid ads, Facebook ads, shut off our affiliate marketing, and made sure that we dialed this thing in. And that's really allowed us to grow tremendously, because now we can control the leads. When we have a winning campaign, we turn up the dial, we drive more leads in, and we can make more money. And, you know, we've gone from having a 25-person team in the UK with a huge office to having just a 5-person team, completely remote, travel the world, and we've been able to generate more profits with the 5-person team using automation and paid traffic than we did with the 25-person team in the UK. Wow. Affiliates, which is crazy, you know? Mm-hmm. So that is the third pillar. So let me just recap on that. The first pillar is a high-end, highly leveraged offer. The second pillar is a telefunnel, so a sales and marketing system. And the third pillar is advertising to power this whole system and make the sales. And the fourth pillar, which not a lot of people talk about, not a lot of people think about, is really mentoring. And what I mean by that is getting a mentor. Because any time that I've invested in a mentor, of someone who can really help me, it's enabled me to really grow the business dramatically. Because it's all well and good reading books, going to events, getting jazzed up, getting motivated. But when you leave that, what happens? You know, who helps you follow up with the implementing? Who guides you? Who looks over your shoulder? Who checks on what you're doing? Who spots your mistakes before you make them? Mm-hmm. And for me, the biggest breakthroughs I've had was when I've invested in mentors. And myself and Alex combined, we've invested hundreds of thousands in mentoring. I mean, you know, Alex has been a part of different groups where it's, you know, $25,000 a year groups. And really for us now, we provide mentoring with our clients, and to see clients come in who have been struggling for so long, finally invest in us. And I don't just mean like a $500 or like a $2,000 home study course. I mean like real mentoring, someone who's going to guide you, look at what you're doing, is invested in you being successful, and is really helping you. And just seeing the clients come to me, people who have been struggling to even launch their business, and they now launched, they're making $10,000, $15,000 a month, to people who come to us who are generating, I don't know, $5,000, $10,000 a month, who we've now helped generate $100,000 a month. You know, I've got clients who have gone from 5K a month to 100K a month in 90 days,
Wow.
you know, just from focusing on what works and using the telefunnel system, leveraging their time, doing advertising, all those other three pillars I mentioned, and then just getting the help and growing it. So for anyone watching, whether you use any of those other three pillars, whether you feel it's right for you, the fourth pillar of getting the mentor, I feel, is really, really important, no matter what business you're in.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, just to touch on that mentor pillar is you look at all these athletes, right? I mean, Allen as well, when he was training to fight for the UFC, he didn't do it all on his own. He needed a coach to guide him through, to pick at the points, what things that he could have improved on, right? You'll see Usain Bolt always had a coach, right? He didn't become Olympic gold medalist on his own. So I believe it's the same in business as well, and in anything in life, right? Just like you mentioned earlier at the beginning of our session, if you're looking for a marriage counselor, right? They could actually see from a third party, from a third point of view, as to what's going on right and what's going on wrong and what can improve. And I think we're so shouldn't say self-indulged, but we're so involved in our businesses sometimes that we don't see any of the bad points, right? All we see is good, and we don't see that we're burning ourselves out or making these mistakes. So I totally agree with you, Adam, and I love these four pillars. This is great, especially for the sales and marketing side of things, and also with I liked how you touched on multiplying your business even more by coaching your coaches. Now, can you touch a little bit about that? Because I'm kind of curious about how you guys did that.
Yeah. So basically, every coach needs a coach, right? You know, that's obvious. And for us, myself and Alex do the coaching ourselves. The real right now, which we're actually going to end up stepping out of that and employing other coaches to do things. And that's the next step for us in our business. But the big multiplier for me, and I think will be important to understand, is building systems throughout the business. Okay. So the big multiplying effect is when you have processes and procedures that allow you to focus on what really matters. Because Tony Robbins says it, right? The two things as a CEO you should be doing is marketing and innovation, okay? So you don't want to be in the trenches doing $10, $20 an hour work if you're going to scale dramatically. Now, in the beginning phase, if you are tight for cash, then you kind of need to kind of learn these kind of nitty gritty and technical things usually in the first place. But essentially what you want to do to grow is hire great people, because, and this is something I really want to talk about as well, which I think is important, is a lot of people I see who are looking to start a business are looking for the dream. They're looking for this automated business. They're looking for and I want to make money while I sleep, and I want a push button traffic method that's going to spit out cash like an ATM into my hands, right? Well, people looking for that are going to be deeply disappointed when they dig deep and realize that it takes work, and the fact that doesn't really exist in that regards. But it gets close to that when you talk about delegation. So I talk about delegation over automation, okay? Because there are things in my business that are automated, right? When a lead comes in, they go through a process. They go through an automated webinar. When they apply for a call, they go through a follow-up sequence of emails and text messages and all those things. Then eventually they get on the phone, and then they need to speak to a human being, okay? Same thing goes when they become a client. They need to speak to human beings. So you actually delegate those processes, okay? So the big thing for me and what I found was every single element of my business I delegated out or automated. So step one, let's just talk about leads. So you need leads coming in every single day. And a lot of people get leads by going to networking events or knocking on doors and things like that. The way that I first delegated the lead flow in the old business through affiliates was I had an affiliate manager. So I actually delegated that out and had an affiliate manager go out and get affiliates on board to make drive the traffic. In today's business, I have someone who I delegate out to do the Facebook ads. Okay. So I actually help with the marketing. I come up with the concepts. I come up with the hooks, which are obviously driving the business, which are important because you don't want to outsource the success. One of my buddies said that, don't outsource the success. And oftentimes it can be the marketing and the hooks and the real thing that drives the business. Don't outsource that. But the setting up of the ads, the day-to-day bidding, the day-to-day split testing, that is delegated, okay? So I have leads coming in automatically every single day while I do nothing. Now, whenever a campaign starts dying out and I need to create a new one, I'm going to roll my sleeves up. I'm going to come up with a hook and a campaign, and we're going to launch it. But day-to-day, that's automated. The second phase is turning those leads, which are email leads, into telephone leads, which is, again, is automated because I use auto webinars. So I have an online presentation that plays every single day, every 30 minutes. So every 30 minutes, this presentation is going live, okay? And people can actually join it. So when they join my mailing list, when they opt in for this free presentation through the advertising, they are then watching a presentation which basically teaches them for, let's say, 45 to 60 minutes, which gives them an overview or more importantly, insights into how to build a 7-figure business. So they watch that, they understand it. If they like it, they're given an opportunity for free consultation to see if we'd be a fit to actually get mentoring. So that whole process is actually automated. So basically, I pretty much wake up every single day and have people in the calendar who are ready to work with us. They've watched the presentation, they've been fed an email follow-up sequence of reminders and text messages, and they're in the calendar. And I've now delegated the sales calls to salespeople to do the calls. In the early days, I got on the phone in the first place to figure out, what needed to be done, because the sales actually drives the marketing. Because when you go through a sales process, you realize what the objections of the market are, what they really want. Does the offer work? What do I need to change? And based on that, you can then fine tune the rest of it. You know what to say in your advertising, you know what to say in your marketing, and that really helps you dial things in. Once you have that, you can then create a script, what I call a magic script, and then other people can actually do the selling, which is obviously delegated and outsourced in that regards, and they're reading a script. And then, so you have the leads, you have the getting of applications, you have the sales, and the fourth is the service and delivery. So that then is right now, parts of that is delegated in regards to I have a client support manager who sets people up, who sends out reminders when to show up for the calls, make sure they have everything. But essentially right now, the actual service and delivery is myself and my business partner, Alex, where we're actually coaching the clients. But for the next stage of growth for us, it would actually be removing us out of that phase and bringing in other coaches who are going to coach the system, which is the telefunnel system, which is getting the results. Because really, we are not actually needed for that because the system is so refined. The system is so good. The system works so well. The system is actually going to do most of the heavy lifting. So we can actually step out of it and then focus on actually growing the business, which is the main thing.
Wow. That's your whole business right there. That's
Absolutely.
Awesome.
That is the whole business. Yeah. That's everything.
Cool. And you mentioned how many staff members do you have that are remote and in-house?
So just 5 right now.
5.
Which are remote, and I'm going to hire a couple more, which are essentially a marketing assistant and then another salesperson, because obviously we have so many leads coming in, we need people to call them. So I'm going to have a marketing assistant for myself because my other marketing assistant's busy doing other things. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to have another marketing assistant who's going to help me with the tech stuff, the setup, because I don't know how to, do most things. I have no idea how to build a website, how to build a funnel or anything like that. I know the marketing, I know what needs to go on there and how to sell people, but the technical side I'm no good at. So I'm going to bring another assistant in who's going to help me build all that stuff out.
I love it, Adam. You're a college dropout and you're not even tech savvy. That's
Well,
brilliant.
I didn't even go to college at all, so I didn't even drop out of college.
Okay. So you
So
didn't
even worse, I didn't even make it through the doors. You know, they wouldn't even let me in.
That's awesome. See, anything is possible, guys. I mean, hey, Adam's a smart guy. Don't get me wrong. Adam's a smart guy, but you know how society they try to get you to go to school and all that. I mean, school is great. Don't get me wrong, guys. But hey, you know what? You know, if you have that drive and you know that tenacity and you know that the never say die type of mentality, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And you know, Adam's done it. You pretty much put everything you laid out in your business here. How many salespeople do you have? That's a curiosity question for me.
Just two right now. Just two. In the old business, I had 6. With this, I had 6, and I had 3 call schedulers. But what I've done, I've actually refined the system to wean out leads which are no good.
Right.
So I don't need as many phone people to do the numbers because I had a lot of leads before coming in that weren't qualified. So we just call them anyway. So, you know, more phone people doing more calls. So I'm actually able to do less calls now and make the same profits. And I also had call schedulers as well who are scheduling the calls, which I now use software. So I use a software called Schedule Once, which I think is great. And that now literally puts people in the calendars. It rotates the calendar, puts different people in. So yeah, I only need, let's just say 2.5 salespeople.
2.5 salespeople. Yeah. Perfect. So you pretty much answered all of my questions without me even asking them, it's like you read my mind, which is pretty cool. So
I have a knack of doing that. People do say that because you know, I coach people every day. I know what needs to be said, so I'm able to, you know, predetermine about that. So I'm glad I was able to do it with you.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. Like everything that I wanted to know and wanted the audience to know as well, the attendees is all here. And you know, you delivered beyond beyond what was expected. So
Thank you.
That's great. But yeah, so how do we get a hold of you? So how do people get in touch with you if they want to start their own business, possibly a coaching business? Is this only targeted for coaches or anybody with the expertise that you
currently right now, if you have, you know, wisdom, knowledge, or expertise, then we will help you create a coaching business. That's what we can do from scratch.
Okay.
Or someone who's already a coach, of course, who wants more clients and wants to go from maybe one-on-one coaching to group coaching, we can take you there. So, you know, if you have expertise, knowledge, or wisdom, you know, I've got people who dating coaches, marriage coaches, life coaches, business coaches. I have all kinds of different coaches that we help because the telephone system works. And if you want to get hold of me, I would visit www.adamdaviesonline.com. And there's a contact form there if you want to reach out. And I've got so many different websites. I could read off a dozen different websites. But if you want to contact me direct, go to www.adamdaviesonline.com or come and find me on Facebook, Adam Davies. I'm the guy there with the shades in San Diego, California. You'll catch me standing in front of a palm tree, I don't know, sipping a mimosa, whatever it may be.
Yeah. None of that in Canada or the UK, though. I mean,
absolutely. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's awesome. But also, we'll also put the link at the bottom of the video session here, so you guys can get in touch with Adam. You saw how he over-delivered here today, and you know, you see what you guys can do with your business or your idea. Thanks a lot, Adam, for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me, brother. Appreciate it. Send my regards to Alan as well. Thank you.
For sure. Take care.
Take care, brother. Thank you.